if we get close enough to see that. Yep, again. At the back of this building is exactly the system I was talking about. Notice a small window up there. Out of that came that shaft that you see and some kind of pulley on it. And you would then have horses or people or weights pull up whatever you were storing into those upper 2 or 3 floors. And those larger entry, I'll call them window ports. Not sure whether today's marathon run ends up there and starts by the river or the reverse. There's the Monument to Freedom. We're going to walk in that direction this morning. These gentlemen have just been participating by putting up this fence here. Just do it. You're halfway across before anybody says it. It's actually the end because you want runners to have this kind of a perk at the end of a long run, I would guess. To orientate ourselves for this early morning jaunt before breakfast, we're right where my finger is, roughly. Actually, we're probably more like right there now. And we're going to walk across to the monument. We'll spend a little time jaunting through the park just to see it, and then we'll continue on over these parks, just checking things out. I'll be going on a second walking tour today that covers the non-historical areas, and it may include some of what we're going to see now. There isn't the incidence of drunk young people weaving their way home this morning, because this is a serious day for some of them, and I think the bars even were respectful of that last night, with lesser noises than the night before. So far, this is a very beautiful park, and a river winds through it, which is going to make it even more beautiful. I think I'll do, since it's such a lovely day, I'm going to walk through the park, up to this park up here a little bit, then hang a right and come over to Esplanade Park, and continue down and hit Vermane's garden, and then work my way back to the hostel for breakfast. A beautifully landscaped park, and appears to be maintained well. Here's a water feature tumbling down from up above. I don't know whether they can power that water or whether they just wait until it rains. There is some water in here, but then it rained recently. Bridge of locks. I mean, this is probably the most locks I've ever seen in a concentrated space. And this woman somewhat reflects the woman you just saw in pink, looking downstream. Can't really tell if it's downstream because the surface isn't moving, but under the bridge we'll return over. Either a beaver or a muskrat. Beaver, I think. I'll be damned. Isn't that something to see in the middle of a city? I think it's too big to be a muskrat. Could be wrong. Hiking is popular here, at least as a tourist thing. I haven't seen anything other than rotoplastic kayaks, but I can imagine this being a lovely place to take a run. Don't know if that mount has any significance other than an architectural detail for the park, but a little bit of art from the park. A pretty little horse. How cute. Some great floral displays in town. But then the price that tourists pay here, and it's primarily tourists, is pretty steep, and it allows for, I suspect, a great deal of embellishment of the tourist area, which is smart. A rather chubby woman reaching down to do something with her ankle, whatever that is. I'm guessing those are fountains. And looking more and more fortress-like. Considerable tribute to women in the sculpture. Not sure if I'm missing something or that implies an overall theme. Lovely places for people to sit and reflect. This tribute to commercialism may be probably of reasonably recent vintage, but nevertheless old, comparatively speaking. Is how there are several different perspectives on this park that you can get if you just want to wander and sit. Great, well-designed park. So we're right at this point where it says City Canal, or to the right, where there's a pedestrian bridge that we'll cross over and work our way along that side just for the fun of it and because it looks less commercial. Trying to live in this town, you should live on with a view of this river and park. Here the park anchors, if you will, what look like residential structures all around this portion of it. We'll continue along the river if we can. Interesting that they've anchored this wall on this side in with what look like pressure-treated logs. You're gonna have to live in a city. You should have this kind of view. We're now at the intersection right where my thumb is. We're over on this side here, about right in there. And instead of going up further, which we could do, I'm going to follow my plan and go to our right up to this other park. We'll traipse through it. This is the Congress Center, whatever that means. I noticed that there's a pretty park with a spectacular fountain over there. I think I'm going to jog over there, change my plan. A couple of Louvre pyramid glass structures. Some tasteful modern structures. Flank this Congress Center. Always a very pretty architectural detail. Tasteful bit of corporate art in front of this investment bank. We're about to enter that park that begins our loop back. Somewhat dramatic obelisk clock with two clocks. Notice there's Oriental language. I suspect that is Japanese. This reflects some kind of sister city status between Riga and Kobe, Japan. Nice. Reflects the simplicity of Japanese architecture and everything else.